Okay, let's get into your reading, Aquarius. Okay, listen, this is not a message for everyone, but if you are seeing this, it is 100% for you. There is a marriage incoming. A marriage incoming for you, okay? There is a person here that is hoping to marry you. A person that is hoping to commit to you for the long term. And that is what this reading is about. Oh my gosh. Let's just get stuck in. Okay, now I want you to just let me know in the comment section below how this resonates. And also claim it, okay? Claim it by commenting down below. This is about to happen, like the reading, and make sure that you're subscribed. I'm telling you, the energy of this is so powerful. There is going to be a beautiful celebration. Things are coming together. Things are progressing. I am telling you, there is a person here that is going to ask for your hand. They are wanting to marry you. They are wanting to progress things along with you. And I want to sit with that word for 1 second. Okay, progressing, because I think you have been in a holding pattern for a while where things were fine, but nothing was actually moving. And that's the specific thing that's ending, okay? Not the connection, the stillness of it. The number 3, we have here the number 3, very powerful. Because the 3 here represents 3 days. It represents 3 weeks. It can even be 3 months. There's an energy here of 3. Okay, 3 could be on the 3rd day of the month, like the 3rd of whatever month. It can be, when you look at the hours, for example, it could be 3:33, 3:33 a.m., 3:33 p.m. It could be, that you see the number 3. The number 3 is very powerful here in regards to that, okay? And I want you to actually watch for it now, because timing signs work differently once you know to look. You'll see it on a receipt, on a door, on the clock when you happen to glance up. And it will not feel like coincidence when it happens. And 3 is the number of creation in almost every system there is, okay? 2 things meeting and producing a 3rd thing that wasn't there before, which is exactly what a marriage actually is when you strip everything decorative off it. And I want to say something about why numbers come through in readings like this at all, okay? Because I know some of you are skeptical about that part. It isn't that the universe writes you a calendar. It's that when something is genuinely close, your attention starts tuning toward it before your mind catches up. You start noticing things you'd have walked straight past a month ago, okay? So when 3 keeps appearing, it isn't the number doing anything. It's you finally paying attention to a direction you'd already been quietly turning toward. And that's the part 1, actually trust, okay? More than any prediction, the Queen of Swords. So we have here as well the Queen of Swords. This also could be like, for example, for you, you might be thinking this is 3rd time lucky, So I'm just seeing here this beautiful energy of this person coming very abruptly, very spontaneously, and coming to ask for your hand. Also with the Queen of Swords, okay? With a male or female, I just see them asking for your hand. And also with the Queen of Swords, there's a deep amount of respect that this person has towards you for how you live, what you do, how you do it. There's a deep amount of respect, okay? This is not a disrespectful person that comes towards you and then you think to yourself, Moonveil, I did not sign up for this. This is someone that you would actually feel connected to. You would actually feel drawn to, and they would respect you. Okay, this is the kind of person, okay, that asks for your hand. And if you say, no, I'm not ready, they respect it. And I want to stop right there for a second, okay? Because that single detail is worth more than everything else in this reading. The test of somebody's character is never how they behave when you say yes. It's how they behave when you say not yet. And this person passes that, okay? And I want you to actually understand how uncommon that is, because most people experience a no as a rejection of them personally. They get quiet. They get cold. They make you pay a small price for it over the following week, never openly, just enough that you learn not to say no again. And you've been in that dynamic before, okay? A lot of you have, which is why some of you have a whole reflex now, where you brace before you decline anything, even something small. This person doesn't create that reflex in you, and you're going to notice its absence before you notice anything else about them. You know, this is a person that would deeply, deeply respect you because they don't disrespect you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't disrespect you. So this is the kind of energy that I'm really picking up on, is a very, very respectful, kind, caring, understanding human being, okay? And they're going to come towards you. They're going to ask for your hand. They're going to want to marry you, and they are going to want to make things just beautiful and breezy and light for you. Oh my God, you can't even make this up. That is literally the card. Because you know the reason I said breezy is because I was looking at the Queen of Swords and I saw all those butterflies just floating and gliding and soaring through the sky. And I just thought, wow, like light and bright and breezy. And look what we have coming out. I am not even joking. This is such a sign, and I want to describe this card properly, okay? Because the Queen of Swords sits alone on her throne, sword held straight up, one hand extended outward, clouds gathered beneath her and butterflies carved into the stone around her. And people always call her the cold queen, okay? And that has never been right. She's the one who sees clearly, okay? The one who can't be fooled. The one who's learned exactly what respect looks like because she's been in rooms where it wasn't there. And butterflies carved into a throne, okay? That's transformation built into the seat itself. The very place she rests from is made out of everything she survived. By the way, whenever you see this reading, within 24 hours, you are going to see a butterfly. You're going to see a butterfly, okay? Whether it's a butterfly print or a real life butterfly or someone talking about a butterfly, there's something here in relation to a butterfly, and you will see this sign within 24 hours of you seeing this reading, and that cements that this reading is for you. I am telling you, on a scale of like 1 to 10, if 1 was cement and 10 was concrete, this is 10, it's concrete for you. Okay, it is concrete. This is coming together. It is setting in stone. And I want you to hold on to that word, okay? Setting, because concrete doesn't harden the moment it's poured. It takes its time. And while it's setting, it still looks unfinished to anybody walking past. So if this doesn't look like anything yet from where you're standing, that's not evidence against it. That's just what the setting stage looks like. And I want to say something about the butterfly, okay? Because signs like that get dismissed as coincidence. And I understand why butterflies are everywhere. That's the objection, and it's fair. But the point of a sign was never that it's rare, okay? It's that it lands at the exact moment you're ready to receive it. And the transformation the butterfly actually represents, that's the part one want you thinking about. Because what goes into the chrysalis and what comes out of it are not the same creature at all, and neither are you, okay? Compared to who you were before all of this, whoever's coming toward you now is coming toward the version of you that came out the other side, not the one who went in. The Eight of Wands. Literally, I'm telling you, the Eight of Wands here shows that this person wants to marry you because they want to make things easier for you, not because they think they're doing you a favor, but because they genuinely don't want to see you struggle and suffer. If you have a specific person, it is this person. You know, I am telling you that this person just wants to make things easier for you. They want to be there for you. They want to, if, for example, they don't want you to like struggle and suffer by yourself or have challenges and obstacles and troubles and have to deal with things by yourself. They want to make life easier for you. They want to make things better for you. They want to be there for you. They want to respect you. They want to be kind to you. They want to be around you. They want to, again, make things easier for you. And I want to name why that particular motive is so rare, okay? Because a lot of people want to marry somebody for how it makes them feel. This person wants to marry you for how it would make you feel. And those are not the same impulse at all. One of them is about being chosen. The other one is about doing the choosing on your behalf and then spending years quietly proving it was the right call. And the Eight of Wands shows 8 staves flying through open air. Okay, no obstacles, nothing blocking them, no ground beneath them slowing anything down. This is the card of things arriving fast, okay? And arriving without complication. And that matters here because whatever was slow about this before, the cards are saying that part is over. They genuinely feel very, very connected and very drawn to you. And they deeply, deeply appreciate you, which is a very big thing that I'm picking up on here. They just feel so, so connected and so drawn to you. And they really, really like you. And I want you to hear that plainly, okay? Because is underrated in these readings, love shows up in a lot of connections that don't work. But liking somebody, genuinely enjoying the person they are on an ordinary Tuesday, that's the thing that carries a marriage. The Magician and the Two of Wands. And also from the Magician and also the Two of Wands, I see this very beautiful energy of them just wanting to, they just want to take your stress and your problems away. They want to, be there for you. Like, for example, if you're unwell, they want to be there for you. They want to make things easier for you. They want to grab you food. They want to, they want to do these things. This is not a child that you have to pick up after. This is someone that actually wants to make your life easier. They want to not see you struggle. Because it's a huge form of love where they want to genuinely be there, okay? They genuinely want to be there. And if you're not very well, or even if you are very well, they will be like, oh, should I just pick this up and clean this or do this? Or, can I build you this? Or can I do this for you? It's because they genuinely care about being there for you. You don't have to be this person's mother. You don't have to be this person's caretaker. They want to be a partner and they just know that, okay, this needs to be done. Let me do it so that you don't have to then spend your extra time doing it. This person, and they're not your maid or anything, that's not what I'm trying to describe here. But this is not a person you have to nag. That's all. You don't have to nag this person. And I want to say something honest about why that's landing so hard for some of you, okay? Because a lot of you have been the manager in every relationship you've ever had, the one who noticed, the one who reminded, the one who eventually just did it themselves because asking twice was more tiring than doing it, and you got used to that, okay? You stopped even naming it as a burden, because it was simply what being in a relationship cost you. And this card is saying that's not the arrangement here. And I want to name what that arrangement was actually costing you, okay? Because it wasn't only time. It was the constant low hum of being the only one holding the whole picture in your head, the only one who knew what needed doing, the only one who'd notice if it didn't get done. And that's a kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, okay? And I want you to imagine, just for a second, walking into a room and finding something already handled, not asked for, not negotiated, not thanked for elaborately afterward. simply done. And if imagining that made something in your chest go tight, that's not because it's unrealistic. It's because you've gone a long time without it. And the magician stands at his table with all 4 suits laid out, okay? One hand raised toward the sky, one pointing at the ground, the infinity symbol floating above his head, every tool available, okay? And the whole meaning of the card is somebody actually using what they have, not somebody with potential, somebody with follow through. And the 2 of Wands shows a figure standing on a castle wall holding a small globe in one hand, okay? Looking out over the water, already planning where to go next. So that's a person who's not only feeling something, they're mapping it. They're thinking about the shape of an actual life, and they understand, that they're just very lucky to even be with someone like you. So I think that's the main thing here, is that they're lucky to have found somebody like you. They now want to make the most. They want to make the best of the situation. They want to be around you. They want to progress things along. They don't want to make things difficult. They don't want to make things challenging. They genuinely want to progress things along and make things come together. And I want to sit with that word lucky for a second, okay? Because there's a specific kind of person who knows the difference between being wanted and being valued. This person values you, okay? And value is the thing that survives the years where wanting comes and goes. The Page of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. We have here the Page of Pentacles. We also have here as well the 6 of Cups. So I do believe that this person is going to ask for your hand and they're going to come forward. And the Page of Pentacles is always shown standing in a green field, okay, holding a single coin up in both hands, studying it carefully, completely absorbed in it. That's somebody taking one thing seriously, okay, learning it properly, not rushing past it. And that's how this person is treating you, as something worth studying, not something already figured out. And Page of Cups here shows surprise, them coming forward, wanting to progress things with you. 6 of Cups, really listening to you, understanding, and sort of making their proposal here towards you. And also really committing to make this happen, wanting to really marry you, wanting to be around you, and wanting to take problems away, wanting to make life very, very easy for you. And the 6 of Cups shows 2 children in a garden, okay? One handing the other a cup filled with flowers, a simple offering. No conditions on it. This is the card of innocent, uncomplicated giving, okay? The kind that isn't keeping score. And that's what makes this proposal different from ones you've had before. There's no invoice attached to it. And it's also a card of memory, okay? Of something familiar returning. So for some of you, this is not a stranger at all. This is somebody who's been in your story before, coming back with a completely different offer than the one they had last time. Why? Because you would also very much do the same for them. You are the kind of person that also doesn't want your partner to struggle and suffer, right? You want to make things easy for them too. So that's what I'm seeing here. And I want to name that plainly, okay? Because this is the actual reason this connection works. It's not that one of you carries and one of you rests. It's that you both keep reaching for the other one's load. And when 2 people do that at the same time, nobody ends up carrying very much at all. And look at how many butterflies we have, right? Can you see those? So we have butterflies here, butterfly right there. Sorry, there. And then we have, butterflies here, and with the 8 of Wands, which I showed you before as well. So you're going to see a sign in regards to butterflies, strength. And so we've got the Strength card here. So it shows a really strong, beautiful connection forming And the Strength card shows a woman with a lion, okay? And her hands are on its jaws. But she isn't forcing anything. There's an infinity symbol above her head, flowers in her hair, and the lion is calm. And that's the whole teaching of this card, okay? The strongest force in the deck is the gentlest one, not domination, not overpowering anything, simply steady, patient presence until the wild thing decides on its own to settle. And I think that's exactly what's happening in this connection, okay? Because nothing here is being forced. This person isn't pressuring you into anything. They're being consistent. And consistency is doing what pressure never could. And I want to point out where Strength sits in the deck, okay? Because it comes right after the Chariot, which is the card of forcing your way forward through sheer will. And the order is deliberate because the lesson after force is always that force wasn't the answer. So if you've been through a season of gripping tightly, okay, of trying to make something happen through effort alone, this card is telling you that season is behind you. You don't have to push this one. You don't have to steer it. You don't have to worry it into existence. It's already moving on its own. Not only, of course, do they want to take your problems away, but they're also hoping that your names will match and you can share the same name. And I think that that is really quite powerful. And I want to stay with that image for a second, okay? Because it's such a small, ordinary detail. And it says everything about where their mind has gone. They've thought about your name next to theirs, okay? They've pictured it written down. That's not a passing feeling. That's somebody who's been imagining a whole life in private for a while now. They want to be a union. They want to be a unit. And they want to be, like how they saw, the past generations really stay in connections long term and fight for things and make things work. And it's not just fickle and falls apart, like they really want to make something very solid. And that's what I'm seeing here. And I want to name what that reference to past generations is actually about, okay? Because it tells you something specific about how this person was raised or what they watched growing up. They saw people stay okay through the hard parts, through the years that weren't romantic at all. And that shaped what they think a partnership is supposed to look like. And it's not the disposable version. Or for some of you, they saw the exact opposite. They watched something fall apart. And they made a quiet decision that they'd never build it that way themselves. Either way, you get the same result, okay? Somebody who takes the word solid seriously. And I want to speak to something you've probably been carrying, okay? Because a lot of you watching this have been told you're too much, too independent, too capable, too used to doing everything yourself. And you were told that it was a problem to be fixed, usually by people who benefited from you doing everything yourself. This person doesn't read you that way, okay? They look at how much you carry and they don't think she's difficult. They think, why is she doing all of that alone? And I want to prepare you for something specific, okay? Because when the offer comes, your first instinct is going to be to say you're fine. That's not honesty, that's reflex. Built over years of it not being safe to need anything from anyone. So notice it when it happens, okay? You don't have to override it immediately. Just notice it. Because being able to receive from somebody is a completely separate skill from being able to give. And most people who are excellent at one have never had to practice the other. And I want to say something about the timing, okay? Because 3 came through very strongly, and I don't want you sitting there counting days. Signs are confirmation, not a contract. If you see 3 everywhere this week, let it be reassurance that you're on the right track, not a deadline that fails you if it passes. The energy here is concrete, okay? And concrete sets on its own schedule. And I want to name what this actually asks of you in the meantime, okay? Because it isn't nothing. It asks you to keep living your life at full size, not shrinking it down into waiting. The person in this reading is drawn to how you live, what you do, how you do it. That came through directly with the Queen of Swords. So the version of you they're moving toward, okay, is the one who's busy building her own thing, not the one who paused everything to watch the door. And I want to be honest about one more thing, okay, because I said this person is respectful and I meant it. But respect is something you verify, not something you assume from a reading. So watch how they behave when you're inconvenient, okay? When you're tired, when you say no to something small, that's where it shows. And if what I'm seeing here is accurate, it'll show up immediately and consistently. You shouldn't have to look hard for it. And for those of you who've had a proposal before that didn't hold, okay, I want to speak to that specifically because third time lucky came through for a reason. The ones that fell apart weren't wasted. They taught you exactly what you were willing to accept and exactly what you weren't. And that education is the reason you'd recognize this one, okay? Because you'd know the difference now. Somebody who's never been disappointed can't tell the real thing from the performance of it. You can, okay? That's what all of it bought you. And I want you to stop framing those years as time lost, okay? Because I know that's how you've been holding them. You weren't behind. You were being taught the difference between somebody who wants you and somebody who's willing to build with you. And that's not a small distinction, okay? Most people never learn it at all, and they spend their whole lives confusing intensity for depth. You learned it the expensive way, and now you get to spend it. And I want to say something about the fear underneath all of this too, okay? Because there's usually a version of it in readings like this. Some of you are scared that being taken care of means being managed. That letting someone lighten the load means handing over the controls. It doesn't, okay? And everything in this spread is saying that plainly. The Queen of Swords keeps her sword. She doesn't put it down for anybody. And she's still the one being approached with respect. You don't have to become smaller to be loved well, okay? You never did. And I want to say one more thing about what this actually looks like when it arrives, okay? Because I don't want you expecting a film scene. It might be quiet, okay? It might happen in an ordinary room, on an ordinary day, with no music behind it. The Eight of Wands moves fast. And fast things often arrive without ceremony because they didn't have time to be staged. So don't miss it, waiting for it to look like something, okay? And I want to prepare you for the days right after too, because there's usually a strange dip that follows a good thing arriving. It's not doubt about them, okay? It's your nervous system checking whether it's safe to stop bracing, and it takes a while. Longer than people expect because you spent years learning to be ready for disappointment, and that training doesn't switch off in a week. So be patient with yourself in that part, okay? It doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means something good arrived somewhere that had gotten very used to bad news. And before the final message, I want to leave a few things to actually hold on to, okay? The motive here is the whole story. Loves. They don't want to marry you for the milestone. They want to marry you so your life gets lighter. And I want you to actually use that as a filter going forward, okay? Not just in this connection. Watch what somebody's presence does to the weight you carry, because that tells you more than anything they say out loud. The second, you don't have to be the manager anymore, and it's going to feel unfamiliar at first, okay? Maybe even uncomfortable, because you've built a whole identity around handling everything. You can put some of it down without losing who you are. And the strength that got you here doesn't disappear when it stops being necessary every single day. The third, Keep living your life at full size while this comes together. The timing signs are confirmation, not instructions to wait by the door. What drew this person in was your actual life, okay? So the correct thing to do with this reading is not to pause. It's to keep going. And I want to answer one more thing, okay? Why this reached you now with this much specific detail? Because you had started quietly wondering whether the kind of partnership you actually wanted existed at all, or whether you'd have to keep choosing between being loved and being left alone to carry everything. And you don't have to choose, okay? That's what this whole spread came through to say. I don't pull the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Magician, the Two of Wands, the Six of Cups and Strength, all agreeing this specifically by accident, and I wouldn't tell you it's concrete if the energy behind it wasn't this consistent. And I want to speak to the small doubting part of you for a second, okay? The one quietly thinking, but things like this don't happen to me. That voice isn't wisdom. It's a conclusion you drew from a sample size of people who weren't right for you. Set it down for tonight, okay? Just for tonight. This is already clear, okay? The number 3 confirmed the timing, days, weeks, or months, with 3 showing up as a sign. The Queen of Swords confirmed deep respect, a spontaneous approach, and butterflies as your confirmation. The Eight of Wands confirmed speed with no obstacles, and a motive built on making your life easier. The Magician and Two of Wands confirm follow through and real planning. The Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups, and Six of Cups confirmed the proposal itself, offered freely. And Strength confirmed a solid, gentle, lasting connection forming. So let me lay this all out one final time, okay? Slowly, so it actually settles. There is a marriage incoming, okay? Somebody who respects you, who likes you, who feels lucky to have found you. They are coming forward spontaneously, quickly, with no obstacles in the way of it. And the reason is the part 1 want you to remember. They want to take the weight off you, the struggling, the carrying it alone, the doing all of it with nobody noticing. Watch for the number 3, okay? And watch for a butterfly within 24 hours. And let those be your confirmation that this one was yours. One message. They don't want to marry you to add to your life. They want to marry you to lighten it. If this resonated, loves, let me know what hit hardest and claim it down below. I genuinely read every comment, okay? Even the ones I can't always reply to individually. Your story becomes part of the reason this reading keeps finding the next person who needs it too, like this reading. And make sure that you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Wherever you're watching this from, okay, I want you to actually feel this settle in before you go. You have been the strong one for a long time, okay? The capable one. The one everybody assumed was fine because you never made a sound about it. And somebody finally looked at you properly. And instead of being impressed by how much you could carry, they wondered why you were carrying it by yourself. That's the whole difference, okay? That's the entire reading in one sentence. And I want you to remember what it felt like to hear that, because that feeling is the standard now, and it doesn't go back down. You were never too much. You were simply carrying something alone that was always meant to be shared. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.